If it's at 9-1, I'm salivating. I may be doubling my bet. I definitely, if a horse is taking action, if a horse was 12-1 on the morning line, you look up, it's 8-5. To me, that's definitely okay. There's maybe a whisper out there. But if my horse is floating up a little bit, I'm perfectly happy with that on the 2-year-old side of things. What's your take on 2-year-olds and the coat board?
Let's just start with the paper. Juvenile racing shows you a racing form that's mostly white, okay? Mostly white. And everybody gets to look at whatever's printed there. So the first point that you make about juveniles is that you've done the work. I think you need to be some form of specialist looking for special information that doesn't show up in the form or on the past performances, and then into it. And, one of the rules is everything that everybody thinks they know and everything that they've put into preparing for a race is factored in the odds board, okay? So the fact that someone would come to the track and not know who Pletchard, Brown, Irad, and Velasquez, not know who they are, is irrelevant, because when you look at the board, Chad and Todd are the first two choices, and Irad sitting on one of them. And so that information that's already factored into the board is for everybody to decide. Now, you look at the board and you say, all right, this horse has turf pedigree on the dam side, and both sires are solid turf. And if the horse is sitting at 6-7-1, yes, you should be salivating. Now, how do you bet that?
Yeah.
How do you bet that into the teeth of a 4-5 Pletcher or Brown favorite, whatever the surface is? To me, it's really very simple. Anytime you like a horse who's 6-1, 7-1 or more, you must bet the horse to win. You must, okay? So that you can at least hold that ticket.
I have stolen over the years your phrase. That's the 2x4 horse.
That's right.
And I totally appreciate that phrase, and I think it's worth, because you like the 6 or the 8-1 shot. You're playing exactas, and the 6 or the 8-1 shot wins,
and you got none,
and you don't have the underneath, and you're like, okay. Oh, how did I?
Now, I'm going to give you a second. Now, this is from my friend the Wizard. After missing enough horses at good odds because they came second and I didn't hit the exacta, Michael always told me, you bet, depending on the size of the field and how much you want to put in the race, you bet a simple $1 all with your horse to come second. Right? If the favorite comes second, so you get something. I mean, wins, you get, and you can double up on the more likely horses. You ask, I always ask myself this question. If I like the 9 and the 9's at 10-1, who's going to beat me in the race? The 4-5, the 9-5, the 7-2, the 3 favorites. So I'm almost always making a bet for my horse to run second at big numbers, and I'll press perhaps the most likely winners. Now, that's a saver bet that I think is worth making, because I know people who bet win in place. And so you bet 10-1 on $10 on a horse who pays 14, that's fine. You bet $10 on that horse to place because your horse won, you might get $5 or $6. But if the favorite wins, you're going to get $3.60. Yeah. But the exacta might be $35.
Yeah.
So I think I would like to have that conversation with the audience. You know, we used to do a thing at live seminars where we'd ask someone, okay, who do you like? Pick a race and who do you like? How much do you have to bet on a horse? Let's talk about how to bet the race. Because to me, the quintessential story is the guy who sticks the ticket in your nose and says, if I'd have boxed it, I'd have had it. And my question to him is, do you box all the time?
That's another great point you used to make.
And he says, no. I said, well, then how are you going to have it? You might have had it tomorrow, but not today.
That's another great point you make, because I've felt that way before too. And now I've kind of taken that out, because it is a great point. It's like, oh, I hit the exacta, but the horse I like third won the completed the trifecta. Why didn't I play the trifecta? And then you think of me, I don't really play the trifecta.
That's right.
And so why am I kicking myself? It's just not something. And I think the mental aspect of the game plays too. So you're kind of moving forward, feeling good about the wins, and like the next race is kind of sitting there for you.
That, we're in a game where we enjoy everything, and the most difficult aspect and the most fun aspect is getting money out of the pools. And I don't think folks spend enough time on being comfortable trying to get money out of the pool. I sat in this chair for many, many years and pretty much said, I just win an exacta better. But because win prices aren't coming back as big as they used to, I'm now playing a few more pick fours and pick fives. And I said you have fun losing. So let's say I decide I'm going to have fun today, and I'll have fun if I lose $200. Okay. Well, if I decide I want to put 60 into a pick five, well, I still got 140 left to play. But I could lose that 200 betting 40 into 5 races and still come up with nothing.
Yeah.
But if I'm right on a pick five, I'm going to get well.
Yeah. I've kind of juggled up. I think probably a lot of people have because, doing the afternoon handicapping show now, you're right. There are times where I sit. When the betting public goes with a favorite now, they go with a favorite in ways that just 4 or 5 years ago it doesn't seem. I mean, you look up, and obviously in the afternoon I'm doing a number of different tracks, and some of them I might be down to $5,000 conditional level, and you look up and there's a horse at 2 to 5. And the 2 to 5 to me is secretariat. There's no secretariat in a $5,000 conditional.
Absolutely. Well, we interviewed Don LaPlace, the old Naira lines maker, and he always said he could never make a horse low enough on the morning line that New Yorkers wouldn't bet it down another few flights. So, they love the favorites.
And also, you kind of alluded to it earlier. I think our friend Brian Nadeau down at Gulfstream coined this phrase, but he was handicapping one day and they were looking at the PPs and they were talking about their picks and whatnot. And they said, but on this one, you're going to get the IRAD tax.
There you go. IRAD tax is good. That's for sure. But we're fortunate this year. I mean, I've already been through the opening day card once and I got to the 8th race of the Friday card. And now, early on, there's no morning line, which I like. I like looking through the past performances without the morning line, and then when the line comes out, I match up with what I. But you cannot miss where IRAD is, and then you ask why, and then you can find reasons why. Sometimes it looks weird. Let's take John Velasquez this year. He's almost become Craig Perret. And what I mean that is Johnny is in his sunset years. It has nothing to do with his ability. He's still as good as he was. But he's riding by appointment. And so when you see John Velasquez here, you have to say, okay, he must like the horse or must like the situation or certainly like the connections. And they're not going to put him on a horse that's going to break down or fall down. If he's getting on the livest horses he can get on. And that's part of the intuitive package.
Yeah. I say I like horse racing because it's 9 or 10 or 11 brain teasers every day. And all my life I've liked brain teasers. But these are the brain teasers. You get them right, you get paid.
Yeah, well, I'd rather call them brain busters. You have some information from last year on.
I'm just going to toss out the leaders from last year on the human side of things and actually go back a few years. But last year on the jockey side of things, the aforementioned Irad Ortiz, he had a lead 62 to 37 to his brother last year, Irad over Jose. So a pretty good lead there. On the trainer side of things, I think we all remember that last weekend where it was bing, bang, bong. Linda Rice makes a late run. So Chad and Linda Rice tied it up last year. So they're your leaders from last year on the trainer and jockey side. And just going back the last few years, jockey side of things, 2022, Irad over Flavian Prat. 2021, Luis Saez over Irad in 2021. 2022 was Irad over Jose again. And 2019, Jose over Irad. So the Ortiz brothers certainly notable. And no surprise on the trainer side of things the last few years. 2022, Chad over Todd. 2021, Chad over Todd. 2020, Todd over Chad. 2019, Chad over Todd. So,
you know, what went, I think, under the radar was really the accomplishment of Linda Rice last year, because she doesn't have the same stock of horses that Pletcher or Chad Brown have. She doesn't have 3 or 4 horses to run in every stakes race. And she did a wonderful job of claiming and bringing livestock from Churchill and other places, as well as her own. And, you know, the racing secretary is no fool. He writes a condition book that has races for Linda and other trainers so they can run and make money. But she spotted her horses wonderfully last year.
I don't argue with that at all, because she also had a great year in New York. I mean, the number of so that just added to it. I will note, however, Chad was probably a little hampered by the weather last year with his number of turf runners normally.
We were all hampered by hampered by the weather.
I'm knocking wood here that, and I think I think we have to be. Again, I'll not, but I think we have to be better than last year, where I think 60-some races were off the turf.
Yeah.
So, all right, Tom, we'll wrap it up. But fun conversation this morning. Looking forward to it continuing on Wednesdays throughout the season, where, again, we'll look at some trips. We'll talk a little wagering strategy and more with our friend Tom Ammello. So, again, thanks for stopping by this morning.
My pleasure. Thank you very much. Nice to be in front of all you folks again.
And we'll wrap it up for this edition of Racing Across America on this Sunday morning live from Saratoga, our kickoff edition on traditional Saratoga. We were here 2 weeks ago for bonus Saratoga, but traditional Saratoga, our little shakeout. You know, things didn't work out yesterday, but I'm looking at the picture today, and this is like the best picture we've had in 2 years. So I'm thrilled, and we will hopefully continue this throughout the season. We'll be back Wednesday, again, kind of a little bit of an early, day before start as well. So you can check us out Wednesday morning here on OTB TV. And then Thursday, we swing away and start the meet. The 40 days underway on Thursday up here. So thanks for tuning in this morning. Check out all the racing this afternoon. Again, Delaware Park with a couple of nice stakes, the RG Dick and the Del Cap. They moved yesterday's stakes card to tomorrow, so Monday action should be fun with the stakes down at Delaware. Closing day at Belmont Park. And don't forget, that means mandatory pays in the appropriate races as well. So keep that in mind also. All right, Seth Merrow, wrapping it up for Racing Across America on this Sunday. Keep tuning in all afternoon. Make some money. We'll see you back here on Wednesday morning for Racing Across America live from Clare Court. See you then. We'd like to thank Woodbine for their sponsorship of this program and some of the other programming and events here at Capital OTB. Woodbine open now through December, featuring great racing, including the King's Plate coming up in August, Turf Champions Day with the Woodbine Mile in September, and much, much more. Woodbine Racing, great racing north of the border.
You're watching OTB TV, a service of Capital Off-Track Betting. Thank you.